sense.
No, and we were talking even off air, and it's again part of the theme is like hard things happen to people in life, and that's either going to propel you or really just going to derail you, right? And it's like I know people feel sometimes harshly about this, but it really is a choice in a way which direction you decide to go, right?
Yeah, and it's not easy. Like, it's work. I think people look at people like us that seem like we have made it or have like built our businesses and think there's like some privilege to it, or the fact that we may be in a better position now. But nothing comes easy. Like, we all have a past. We all came from something that we had to work through. And I think that's what the missing piece is. You know, it's not easy. It does take a lot of work. And for me, bad things happening to me were actually a huge motivator, because it was like, I need to get the fuck out of this. Like, I have to figure this out. And I love my mom, and she did the best that she could. But like, seeing her after being a stay-at-home mom for 13 years have to go back to work full time, like literally from dropping us off every day, picking us up every day, being PTO mom, doing the auction, all those things, and then having to like have a nanny like pick us up every day, make dinner. We barely saw her because she was leaving for work at 8. I was like, I never want to be in that position. Like, she had the rug pulled out from under her, and she had to like do stuff she didn't want to do. Like, she had to go back to, she had an MBA, thankfully, but she had to go back to like an accounting job. And I was thinking, you know, that's what happens when you're dependent on someone in life, and like you bet on them and they screw you over, or like they, you know, like my dad screwed my mom over after 13 years all of a sudden. And I was just like, I need to make my own life. There's just no way I ever want to be in that position. And I think that that is a really good lesson to learn at a young age, because especially now, I think things do look with a lot of like the celebrity culture and social media culture, like they come easy. It's not easy. It's really not easy. But when you get to the other side, you realize it's fun. Like, putting the work in and like having a fire under your ass to like build something is really fucking fun.
Yeah, I was just talking to a woman that's close to me, and I don't want to go too much into detail, but I was basically talking to her, and I was like, listen, like many men and women, they choose the path where like maybe they're not the main breadwinner in the house, and they go, you know, they're reliant on whoever that person is, man or woman. And what I asked the person, I was like, do you really want to put all of your eggs in that basket and not hedge it anyway and have your own thing? And again, I'm not passing judgment, but to your point, I think it's so important to have your own independence, right? Like Lauren and I together, you know, we're an entity, but we also have things separately, and we work on separate things. And I think it's important for both of our independence, but not just that. Like, I never want my wife to feel like her stability in life is based on my success or vice versa. And so I asked, you know, this woman, like, do you really want to do that? Because to your point, if you get the rug pulled out from under you and you don't have that support system anymore, and you don't have your own thing, it's very scary. Yeah. And it's always harder to go back.
I watched a very similar story with my mom. When you see your mom struggle and not have her own independence, it really lights a fire under your ass to go make your own, not only money, to have your own leverage, to have your own power.
And like, for me, it's not always even been about the money. It's about having my own life where like there's the opportunity. Like, at least I have my own skills, my own passions, my own world, that if I had to, I could go pursue that. And I like being a mom, now that we're both moms, which I can't believe, but like, it is the hardest job in the world. And like, every stay-at-home mom out there where your husband works, I mean, I commend that, because that is so hard. To me, that's way harder than going to a job every day, like being home with the kids. It's a huge undertaking. But also, for me personally, like, it's seeing it from my mom's perspective. She put everything into that, and it's scary when you realize there was no world outside of that. And then all of a sudden, oh shit, like, what do you do? And so I think that there's also like a way to still like kind of be yourself, but also give everything to your family. Because like, for me right now, my daughter is still my number one priority, but I wouldn't be as good of a mom if I weren't still pursuing my passions and my dreams and the stuff that I love to do. Like, I wouldn't be able to function.
Also, I think, you know, you're setting an example for her too by focusing on what you're building.
That's like the most fun part. It's like a total new motivator is how can I show her, like, how can I be the best example that I would want for her? And it's like making me be better in every way that I can because I'm excited to give her the best possible like foundation.
You know, the reverse side of that though, on the male side, I had a mother who worked all the time when I was little. I remember she would come home sometimes really late at night. I remember being a kid watching that.
It's hard to
It would be hard, but what I'm saying is like from an example standpoint, I in my life have been attracted because of that to very strong independent women, right? Where like women that have things that they're doing their own thing. And a lot of men, sometimes they get threatened if maybe there's a woman that's bringing in part of the income or half the income or is the breadwinner in the family. And I think for me, what it's done on the reverse from an example standpoint is I've actually been more attracted to those kinds of women that have their own thing, that are strong, that are independent. Where many, like I've had friends that are sometimes intimidated by that. Does that make sense? Because my mother was that example.
I'm sure Annie's
Jeff and I talk a lot about this, and he's like, we wouldn't have our relationship if we weren't both doing our stuff. Like he doesn't want someone to just be like home doing nothing, waiting around for him. Like that would just not be. That's just so not our vibe. Like I don't even know what we would talk about. And there's something really nice about the fact that like we have two different worlds, and then when we come together, like it feels like our relationship.
Probably.
Yeah. And it's just like I respect and admire him, and he respects and admires me. But like I don't even know what I would relate to him. Like if he's off doing all of his like stuff with his development projects in the hotel and his sports teams, like, and then I was like.
Well, yeah, I think you're married to someone who's incredibly multifaceted that I do want to get into too. But you also are so multifaceted, and when it comes together, it's just like a really strong foundation for both of you.